Hello and welcome to Mr. Community. I am your host. Of course, my name is Reggie Reg Davis. And today is a very special day. On the program today with me, Sister Moon, as I like to refer to her. And welcome to the program, Sister Moon.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. And we want to talk about, I've been knowing this young lady for a long time. And she specializes in the art of, this is me talking, the art of breastfeeding, which is so incredibly important. I know for a fact that if you breastfeed your child will be more likely, will have great chances of becoming a very intellectual, a healthy, a smart person in life. And the reason being is so simple. If you just go into your brain, right? Watch how simple this thought is. God created us, and God said, "Hey, woman, I'm going to give you I'm going to give you breast, and in the breast, I'm going to give you milk, which is filled with the right nutrients for you and your offspring, so that you can raise your offspring to be the way that I want it to be." This is God talking. So if it's a God thing, why then do we continue to invest in something that man put together? That's a different story. I don't want to go in that direction right now, but we want to talk about breastfeeding and the importance of, because you are the specialist in breastfeeding. You have children. They've all been breastfed, and they're smart geniuses, astronauts, and everything. So, so we can start out, Sister Moon, by talking about the importance of breastfeeding. Why is it so very important for a woman to breastfeed her child?
Well, basically what you said was it raises their intellectual level. It actually, children who breastfeed are less likely to get sick. And when they do get sick, it's not for a long period of time. Breastfeeding specifically is the human's way of vaccinating our children from every ailment that whatever your body has built up an immunity to, you're able to pass that immunity on to your children through your breast milk. So it's like giving your children a
special coating of
absolutely protecting their absolutely.
Yeah, so your group is Breastfeeding Mothers Unite.
Yes.
And you guys are doing a piece. You're going to be part of the African Wealth Fest that's upcoming. When is it? August 18th?
August 18th through the 20th.
Over at the museum. And you're putting together a lactation station. What is a lactation station?
Okay, so a lactation station is mothers who are breastfeeding. First off, the African World Festival is huge, and it pulls in like 150,000 people over the weekend. But the lactation station gives mothers a space to come and sit down, take care of your children, breastfeed, so you can get out of the rush of the festival, but still able to take care of your children and still be a part of everything. So I had to ask myself a question at some point where I'm always fighting for educating mothers. Why do they need to breastfeed? What's our history? Why don't we breastfeed? And then I asked myself, well, what am I doing to make it easier for mothers to breastfeed? So this is my way of making things a little bit easier for mothers, to give them that space where they can come somewhere and sit down, breastfeed their children. They don't have to be isolated, and they can get right back to the festivities.
Right. And when you speak about having a particular area for women to go to breastfeed during the African World Fest, which is incredibly important, because you're talking about Africa. Absolutely. And the World Fest. So of course you're going to talk about the importance of us, the queens of the world. Absolutely. And the way they're supposed to take care of their children. A better way to take care of your child is to breastfeed your child. So when you talked earlier about, you said something about being isolated. When a person thinks about a woman breastfeeding, okay, she's in the public, she's breastfeeding. So a man is walking by, and we're not used to this, so he wants to look. He sees something of spectacular interest that he may be trying to really pay attention to, and then a woman may be distracted or uncomfortable by that. So I think that, and I'm sure you'll say that you'll agree, it takes more awareness, more knowledge about this particular scenario, because in this life here in American culture, it's not a big thing. Most people go and they get the what do they call that the milk you buy in the stores, the formula and everything. Right. So that's what most people are used to. So my point is, do you still get a lot of, men and different, just people in general, they're looking because they're not used to a woman sitting around in public breastfeeding her child?
So, it's funny that you mentioned that, because you as a man went first to, well, men are going to stop and look. And that's what most people think, is a man is going to be staring at this woman who's breastfeeding. And that's a lot of mothers' concerns. But what I've found is most women stop to tell a woman that she shouldn't be breastfeeding because a man is going to be looking at her. Men, sometimes they might get caught off guard and they'll stop for a second like, oh, she's breastfeeding, and keep going. But it's usually the women who stop to like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. That's
Really?
nasty. I don't want my son to see it. I don't want my husband to see it. My brother shouldn't see it. It's usually the women who are opposed to watching a woman breastfeed, because they're concerned about what a man would feel about it, when most men see it and they keep going.
So what do you say to the woman who stops by? Oh, cover yourself up. I don't want my husband to see that. What do you say to her?
Well, usually I say, the problem is that you have gotten into the formula state of mind, right? And a lot of us have. And it's not just, that's the world that we live in. Everybody is used to seeing a bottle. We know what a bottle is. You go to the store, you buy dolls, they have bottles. We know what that is. To see a woman breastfeeding their children the way they're supposed to, we've gotten outside of that. So I try to make it my business to breastfeed wherever I go, right? And be comfortable in that, because the more people who see it, then the more women will say, you know what? If a man does see it, then maybe I'll say something to him, as opposed to saying something to the woman who's breastfeeding and tell her to stop. Let's start changing other people's minds first, right? And then folks don't realize that breastfeeding is saving our children's lives. Breast milk itself is changing the lives of the children of Detroit, in which, I don't know if you know, Reggie, but Detroit has the highest infant mortality rate in the Black community, right? And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're not breastfeeding.
Wow.
Okay? So when you see it and you're supporting the mother and you're not berating the mother, you're literally saving the lives of the people in your community. So that's where I said, well, how can I make a difference? How can I make a difference other than educating? How can I make it easier for mothers to actually have somewhere to breastfeed? And I'm not telling mothers, if they're breastfeeding, that they need to come to my station, because maybe they don't want to. But those mothers who really, they want to sit down, they want to feel like they're safe, come by, because we're going to have that space for you to do that, so you don't have to separate yourself from everyone else.
Sister Moon, what do you do as far as going out and teaching the young women, the young ladies before they get off it, with still adolescents maybe, to teach them about how important it is to breastfeed? Is that the area you should start, or what?
I actually think that you should start teaching children around, like, my daughter's 9, and we talk about breastfeeding all the time. She doesn't have any choice, right? but I think that's when we should start talking to our children about breastfeeding, when instead of mothers saying, oh, my child is looking, let's educate them. What is she doing? Let's start having those conversations before they even start thinking about sex, before they start thinking about children. Let's have these conversations now. That way it becomes more normalized. And the funny thing is the younger mothers, the teenage mothers, the mothers in their early 20s, more of them are breastfeeding. More of them are breastfeeding right now. It's like 60% of young mothers are breastfeeding, more so than the older women. But when they get out here in the community, the older people are not supporting them. So then it doesn't last for long. And that's what needs to change. We have to change our mindset so we can actually start saving our children. Because we're always talking about what other harms there are out there to our people. But just not supporting a mother, by not showing that support, we're doing just as much harm as somebody else is.
Right. So I am with Sister Moon. She is of the group Breastfeeding Mothers Unite. They are here for the African World Festival going on August 18th through the 20th at the History Museum, that African American, what do you call it?
The Charles Wright African American Museum.
Thank you.
Yes.
And they're creating a lactation station. And they need your help. So you're trying to raise some money. You need some help, people. Help. This is a great cause. Breastfeeding is so important. These sisters are here with the group Breastfeeding Mothers Unite, and they're trying to raise some money so that they can set up, in a proper fashion to teach you about how important it is to breastfeed.
Absolutely, because we need, chairs, we need bottled water, we need all kind of things for mothers to have that space of comfort. And as much as I would love to be able to pay for everything myself, I can't do it. So I do need the help of the community. Absolutely.
And how do they get in touch with you? If they're interested right now, how do they get in touch?
They can reach me online. ChocolateMilkGear.com is
ChocolateMilkGear.com.
Yes, that is my website. So they can go to my website and reach out to me there, or they can reach support@ChocolateMilkGear.com is my email address, and reach out to me there.
All right, got it. Hey, I look forward to checking you guys out. I'm going to stop by the lactation station and salute the sisters doing their thing. I appreciate you coming by, Sister Moon. Thank you so much. I appreciate all that you do. Keep up the great work, especially informing our people. We need it.
Thank you.
All right, God bless. Love you. Thanks for listening to Mr. Community. I'm your host, Reggie Reg Davis. God bless.